3 surprising ways to enrich your fall cooking that you might be missing out on. Today on the Carefree Cooks Code. I'm Chef Todd Moore, and this is the Carefree Cooks Code, every Tuesday live at noon Eastern. Here's our challenge. How can home cooks cook freely with creativity, confidence, and pride while ignoring recipes and still impressing themselves and others with what they cook? Well, the answer is found in becoming empowered with how cooking works, using dependable and repeatable methods of cooking that work for any ingredient, for any diet, and any desire, just like chefs do. And we'll know we've cracked it when everyone sees cooking as an exciting and rewarding way to improve their relationships, their lifestyles, and their health through better food and cooking. This is the Carefree Cooks Code. Oh, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Carefree Cooks Code. I'm Chef Todd Moore, and we are live every Tuesday at noon Eastern. If this surprises you, you should go to webcookingclasses.com/ I got it right, live, and register for my free alert system. That way, whenever I pop on here and go live, you get a little alert beforehand because we're the Carefree Cooks. You might have heard of us. We create our own recipes. We don't let someone tell us how to cook. What does this do? It brings friends and family toward you. You definitely learn every time you cook, which is an important aspect. You define your own cooking style because you practice these pro methods and you wind up loving your cooking. And that's really what it's all about when we get together. But today, I have some bad news for you. It happened just yesterday. I flipped the calendar over. You might have had the same thing happen to you. And there it was. You know what it was on the next page? It might have well said, say goodbye to all the fun. Summer is over and fall is here. And I was like, oh, come on. Can it really be the end of barbecues and picnics? The backyard hamburgers, the hot dogs, they're all gone for another 3 seasons. I'm going to miss my watermelon, the cool pasta salads. I make a lemon dill chicken salad every summer. I'm going to miss it. But, maybe that's the whole idea. Maybe it is time to say goodbye to a lot of those summer foods and embrace a whole new season of cooking because yesterday, that's right, just yesterday was the first day of autumn for those of us here in the Northern Hemisphere. I know we have people watching all over the world, but here in the Northern Hemisphere, the season is changing. So since we're going to change the season, we're going to change the season on your cooking today also. We want to add new interest, new excitement by using the truly unique flavors of fall. That's right. We are going to change the season of your cooking today, not the seasoning. No, that's something entirely different. We're going to change the season using the ingredients, the methods, the inspirations. These are the things that come when the days start getting shorter, when they get darker, when they get colder, right? But what I'm going to share with you today, as usual, it's not difficult, right? I don't ever throw hard things at you. It's not going to require any high-level chef skills. None of it does. And it's not permanent. It's not like a tattoo. What I'm going to show you today is not like a tattoo. Don't worry. You can always switch back. And as a matter of fact, you will be switching back. And you should be always switching back, changing your cooking with the seasons, because the seasons are always changing, but I'm always shocked to find out that most people's cooking doesn't change with it. So that's our focus today. Does that sound good? We're going to focus on the changes that you can make for fall cooking, and some of them might surprise you. So you ready to get started? All right, here we go. This is what we want to talk about. Unfortunately, like I said, it's not summer anymore. I know, I'm upset about it also, because all summer long we ate those lighter foods, right? We didn't want the heavier things weighing us down, but in the fall, you start craving those comfort foods that you grew up with. That's right, you want to eat mac and cheese 3 meals a day. I know I do. When the heartier foods come along, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great to eat mac and cheese 3 days a day, 3 times a day? See how excited I get about it? Because I know that fall foods have got to be just a bit heavier, right? They're a little richer. They're more of like the stick to your ribs kind of foods with the thick gravies that warm you up on the inside when it's getting cold outside. And yeah, I know, I love summer barbecues too. I love winter holiday celebrations also. I love the arrival of spring produce, but fall is the season that gets the least respect when it comes to cooking, and I know why. I understand this. And you know what? You might even not even know that fall cooking is different. You might not even know why fall cooking is different, and you might not have even heard of this idea of changing your cooking for the seasons. So that's why I want to go through with it, but it proves my first point. You see what I'm talking about? Fall is the Rodney Dangerfield of cooking seasons. No respect. Fall gets, hey, no respect at all, I'll tell you. Rodney had a line said, hey, my wife is a terrible cook, The flies chipped in to fix the screen door. So Rodney understood about no respect in cooking. But the first thing that we have to admit together here today is that fall cooking is different. It is. It's misunderstood, and that's why it's most often disregarded. So can we agree on that it's probably your least favorite season of cooking? It's the most disrespected. And look, if you don't think that cooking gets no respect at all, consider for a minute how we treat the fresh ingredients of fall. We carve scary faces on them, right? Then we leave them out on the porch to rot. We display them as decorations on the fireplace. We build bird houses out of them, for goodness sake. I mean, you don't make a bird house out of pasta salad in the summer, do you? Can you name any other season of the year where we treat food as badly as we do in the fall? You can't. And it's such a shame, because once you gain some respect for the flavors, the ingredients, the uniqueness to the season, the cozy soups, right? The darker gravies, heartier grains and rices, you get to make that big game food, right? When you bring everybody together for those social occasions that fall brings. And when you start to think about these things, you might have a little bit more respect for fall when you go into your kitchen this year. Because look, a lot of people, they decorate every other room of the house when the seasons change, right? But not the kitchen. Are you one of the people who decorates your house differently? Maybe change the pillows on the couch, put different flowers? Do you go as far as putting hay bales out on your porch? Do you find a scarecrow on your front lawn? Poor pumpkin. It used to be food. Such a shame. But let me ask you this. What other season do you just give out free candy to anyone who knocks on your door? You already know that fall is different. Heck, you actually go backward in the fall. But I'm still shocked that nobody understands that cooking the same thing all year long makes your cooking boring. This is why you feel chained to the stove. And I know too many people that eat the same things no matter what month it is. And look, the answer is not found in your crock pot. It's not found by microwaving something, and it's not found by this thing. I can't take that thing. What makes your fall cooking cozy is when you start to put new interest and excitement into your cooking, using the truly unique flavors of fall, creating those comfort foods that warm you from the inside. Look, it's all about changing your cooking focus when you change for the season. I mean, your cooking should change like your wardrobe, no? You wouldn't wear that ugly Halloween sweater to a pool party. They'd think you were whacked. And you wouldn't bring a horrible Jell-O mold like this with hot dogs in it to the football tailgate party. It doesn't make sense. You want to go with what's correct for the season, and you can make your fall cooking cozy as long as you're adapting to the 3 ways that you can enrich your fall cooking. So would you like to hear about them? You want to know the 3 surprising ways to enrich your cooking that you might be missing out on? Yes? Good, good? All right, well, the first one is really simple, is stop being afraid of squash. And this is a big one for people because you can't avoid the great flavors of fall without the acorn squash, the butternut squash, the carnival squash, spaghetti squash, the pumpkins, all these things that start appearing at the farmer's market. When you see them, please don't run screaming. They are the ingredients of fall. And if you've been avoiding them, you're missing out on some of the healthiest food of the year. Think about it as a fall potato, if you have to, Squashes are the first reason that fall cooking is so cozy because fall squash are perfectly suited for soups, for stews, for chilies. I mean, they're hearty, so many of them, for braised meats and casseroles, for all kinds of baked goods. I mean, all of the varieties of squash that I mentioned a second ago, they're all low-calorie foods, and they're a great source of complex carbohydrates and dietary fiber. Blah, 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 blah. Dietitian talk, and I'm not even a dietitian, but let me put this in summer versus fall terms for you, that you'll understand whether you're a dietitian or not. Summer foods bring the simple carbohydrates. Think about it. In the summer, you eat more fruit. You eat more fruit sugar. Talked about watermelon a minute ago. You eat more bread, more picnics, more sandwiches, more rolls. Summer's the time for corn, right? Corn syrups, corn sugars in your baking, the tasty pies, the cookies, the sweets, the snacks, the bags of chips, the processed foods. To be honest, these are the things that you love about summer, but none of them is a low-calorie food by any means. These are the simple sugars. These are the things that give you quick energy and then you spike and crash. If you've ever eaten donuts for breakfast, okay, and then you're sleepy at your desk at 10 a.m., you know the concept of the simple sugar crash. But if you ate fall complex carbohydrates, then you'd still be awake. Your boss wouldn't see you sleeping with donut sprinkles all over your keyboard, right? You already feel a little bit more sleepy when fall comes around, right? Why make it so much harder on yourself? Why make yourself even sleepier by eating summer foods that are going to spike and crash you? Butternut squash, acorn squash, the pumpkin, they give you those complex carbohydrates that don't spike your energy levels. And this type of sugar, it packs so much more nutrition than the summer carbs do because squash are high in fiber, which means everything takes longer to digest, right? We'll put it that way. But what this does is it makes you seem more full, right? They're more filling. So these things can actually help you reach your diet goals more than potatoes and corn can. Squash, it is said, also ideal for people with type 2 diabetes because they manage those spikes after the meals. The fiber in the squash, it's especially important because it can promote regular digestion. It takes the place of a lot of other foods like prunes and stuff in the fall. It helps control cholesterol as well. Watermelon and peaches, they don't do that for you. They're fun, but they don't have nearly the health benefit of squash that's really high in beta carotene. This helps maintain healthy skin. This assists and promotes in the growth of skin cells. Why is this important to you? Because you've spent the entire summer baking yourself in direct sunlight, so you need to spend fall repairing your skin with squash nutrition. Heck, I mean, it contains vitamin C and potassium and omega-3 fatty acids like a salmon. So for your health, to ward off colds for the coming winter, to get rid of illnesses, for stronger bones, healthier skin, better circulation, this is the reason that squash are never invited to the summer pool party. They're just too healthy for that crowd. All right. I can see I got your attention now. That scary squash that you thought was a porch ornament, it's actually healthy food. Who would have guessed, right? Could you start thinking about that just a little differently maybe? It's food, not a decoration. Can I tell you a quick story? All right, Let me go back a little bit. Some people tell me they like the background of Chef Todd. A sip of water. Let me tell you how this all came about. You want to know how it all came about, this whole idea, because I discovered the power of cozy fall foods more than 20 years ago. I'd only been out of culinary school for maybe less than 2 years when I got a job as the executive chef of a cafeteria inside a big office building. I was working for a large contract food service provider. If I said their name, you'd probably know it, but it's not important to the story, and I hate them now. Anyway, I was in the Research Triangle Park. This is an area between Raleigh and Durham in North Carolina. It's a sprawling campus. There was this huge company, and I was running their breakfast and lunch cafeteria. I had a captive audience. This is a good gig for a chef, right? Anywhere was too far to go out to lunch. There wasn't much else around, so everybody ate at the cafeteria. Easy audience, right? And corporate cafeterias, they run on a cycle menu. If you never heard of this, if you never, like a hospital, a cafeteria in a hospital, a cycle menu means you have the same thing every 3 or 5 or 7 or 9 weeks, depending on how big the cycle is. So if today is lasagna, 5 weeks from now, it's going to be lasagna. And this makes it really easy for a large corporation like I was working for to standardize everything that's served and standardize the food I could buy as well, because that's the thing. I could only purchase the food from them in order to fulfill the menu cycle. So can you imagine what a drawback a menu cycle is for a chef? Because it gets really, really boring after a while. It turns into like cafeteria menu prison after a while. And this is the way I felt one day. Somebody snapped this picture. Like you're doing in the cafeteria menu prison, you're just doing time till the next lasagna comes around. So naturally, after a few months on the job, I started to notice that we were feeding less and less people. Even this captive audience. And each time the 5-week cycle menu came around again, I was losing even more people because they were getting bored of the food. I knew it. And I really wanted to change the menu, but the corporate office, absolutely not. And I couldn't get around them because I had to buy the food from them, don't forget. And you might guess, if you've watched me for any amount of time, that listening to corporate rules is not my thing. Yeah, I'm not a corporate kind of guy. I'm definitely not like a go along to get along kind of person. And corporate restrictions drove me absolutely crazy. But I was going to figure this out for my customers as a chef in a Hippocratic oath kind of way. That might be too much, but I owed it to my customers. So I went to research it. I went out to the dining room. I wanted to see what my former customers were out there eating, and they were bringing their lunches from home. I saw the lunch boxes, the insulated bags, paper bags, thermoses, microwavable trays. But what really took my eye on this fall day, the thing that kept everybody inside my dining room without buying my food, was the thermoses. I saw them all. I smelled them. Stews and chilies, hot food that people were eating with forks out of thermoses. I was expecting to see cold sandwiches, right? Wrapped sandwiches. And sandwiches are just that. Sandwiches are cold. You know, they're inanimate. So my former captive audience had escaped. They were telling me with the fork in their hand, pitchforks in the air, they wanted me to change with the season. That's the stuff that they brought from home, and that's the kind of food that I should be offering to them. And remember, I'm not supposed to change the menu, and I can't buy anything other than what the corporate office allows me to buy. So I wondered, how was I going to take something that everybody was bored with, not be able to change anything about it, but still make something new and exciting, right? Seemed absolutely impossible. But I took the cue from them. And I thought to myself, change with the seasons. So I went over this boring cycle menu, and I looked at the food that I could buy from them. And I started to examine how I could cook the same thing, but put a little bit more fall in this stagnant cycle menu. I started making thicker soups. There's an example. When the cycle menu called for like a thin chicken noodle soup, I made a hearty cream of chicken soup with mushrooms and barley. Shh, don't tell the corporate office. But I would argue the menu says chicken soup. It's still a chicken soup. It's just a fall chicken soup. I could buy cans of pumpkin because we baked pies, but the heck with that. Everybody does pumpkin pie. I started making pureed soups, pumpkin soups. The lemon dill roasted chicken sounds, like a really light, really nice summer dish. We turned it into maple and mustard roasted chicken. Doesn't maple and whole grain mustard sound a lot more like fall than lemon and dill, right? So now we're on fire. We're going across this cycle menu like a stiff wind blows away a pile of leaves. Mashed potatoes became cinnamon sweet potatoes. Barbecue pork chop, no more. Honey apple pork chop, hello. Cheese-filled ravioli with tomato sauce, are you kidding me? No. Butternut squash ravioli with walnut brown butter sauce. We're making brown rice instead of white rice. We're adding quinoa as a side dish. We're making risotto. We're cooking barley, right? I even started doing special promotions for the season. I started making special football menus for the week that the team was playing. And this cycle menu that was so stagnant and so boring, it started having a mind of its own. Because once I learned how to tiptoe around those corporate restrictions and guidelines, I started changing things for the season, just as I saw my customers doing themselves. Then I started working along with the natural flow of people's lives. When the seasons changed, I saw them dress differently, interact differently, but especially eat differently. And the small changes I made in a restrictive menu, it gave new excitement to the season. And I got all my customers back because ultimately they hated restrictions as much as I did. They didn't like being restricted. So that long story is here to ask you one question. Please ask yourself, is your cooking being expanded or restricted by the season, like a cycle menu? And I took this whole idea and I brought it to my own cafeteria in an office building when I opened one, and to my catering company. Because we started writing different menus for the season. And this, that's my chicken, don't laugh at it. This is the lemon dill chicken salad I was talking about. Well, in the summer, that became maple bourbon chicken for my catering company. Again, the summer barbecue pork became pork in hunter sauce, because it's all about keeping it interesting and exciting, using the flavors from the season that's all around you. You get it? All right, way too much of a tangent. Let me get back to the class on hand right now. It was 3 surprising ways to enrich your fall cooking that you might be missing. And it started a few minutes ago with my advice about using unique foods of fall like squash for the health and the variety of your cooking. Well, the second way is to change your grains. And we've already had a discussion of carbohydrates, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But this is an opportunity to move your cooking into a new season with new ingredients. So if you find yourself, again, summer versus fall, if you find yourself eating a lot of potatoes, French fries, potato salad at the picnic, mashed potatoes, pasta salad, white rice in the summer, then you can make a healthy change for fall. Because I like to change my white rice to brown rice in the fall. Brown rice is nuttier. And it's healthier, it's heartier. It's more of a comfort food, in my opinion. And I even use the brown rice as a stuffing for pork tenderloin or chicken breasts. It's a great texture for fall. And I eat a lot more quinoa in the fall. It's such a healthy grain. It's packed with such great plant-based protein, and it stays with you a really long time. Again, a complex carbohydrate. Quinoa can do what a bushel of potatoes can't do. And I find myself eating more lentils, more beans, barley. I love barley in the fall, and they're heartier grains that give me better energy when the sun goes down earlier and earlier and earlier. So the 3 surprising ways to enrich your fall cooking that you might be missing are: don't fear the squash. It's really good nutrition. Use heartier grains and complex carbohydrates like brown rice and quinoa. Your body will thank you. And lastly, start making thicker soups and darker gravies. Like I mentioned in my cafeteria experience, one of the smallest changes that I made to switch from summer to fall under a restrictive menu was to change the soups from thin to thick. Most of the broth-based soups became thickened or pureed soups. I mean, there are only 3 kinds of soups known to all of mankind. That's a fact. So it was really easy to switch. And I love to make things like pureed butternut squash and apple soup in the fall. I mean, heck, once you know how to cut, clean, and puree a pumpkin or a squash, then there's a whole list of great fall soups, sauces, even tarts and baked goods that you can make. Imagine another one of my favorites, carrot, pumpkin, and ginger soup. Whew, that says fall, right? But it's not something that I would think was really good in the summer. I mean, right? You understand? Because along with these heartier soups, my sauces start to get a lot darker in the fall too. I find myself reaching in the freezer for those dark roux cubes that we made a few months ago in one of my live videos. I keep them stored in my freezer. Now's the time to use them because they quickly turn any basic broth into a dark, toasty gravy just by whisking it in. And fall says dark gravies to me. Like I make an awesome double dark lamb chop gravy that I don't think I've ever made before October 1st of a year. That's because it's not a summer gravy. It's made for fall. Brown rice and quinoa, they're not summer grains to me. They're made for fall. And I usually don't mess with a squash unless the month ends in an ER because they're perfect for fall. And I've known that fall cooking is cozy for a really long time now. Personally and professionally, I have found that when you change your cooking for the seasons, you have happier diners, whether it's your families or the customers that you lost and wanted to bring back. But when I started thinking about this, I knew I had to put it all together in a fun and easy program so you can get involved with this plan too. You can put new and exciting foods into your cooking with healthier foods than last season. Enjoy heartier, more nutritious food that helps your body with what it needs for the changing season. Because when you improve your wellness, your outlook, and your energy, when you start focusing on changing the food you cook for the fall, well, you can take advantage of all these potential health benefits, the social interactions, the friends and family bonds that we talk about being a carefree cook. And that's why I've assembled a new program. It's called Fall Cooking is Cozy because it's a very special time of year if you love to cook and you enjoy surrounding yourself with others who love your cooking as well. The Fall Cooking is Cozy program contains 36 video lessons to empower you with all the methods, techniques, skills, and inspirations to change your cooking focus for the season. It's got a lot of elements to it, just like web cooking classes, which sells for $349 on my website. But this is not web cooking classes. This is entirely different material. Fall Cooking is Cozy covers a lot of territory when it comes to bringing new ideas into your fall cooking. And you'll be prepared for the season with video lessons on how to turn pumpkin into a dozen great dishes, how to make a cheesy casserole from a tough acorn squash, how to create a butternut squash ravioli filling for ravioli dough, combining apples and carnival squash for a really cozy soup, making lasagna with no pasta at all, and using squash to make a fall slaw and steamed dumplings. And then there's part 2 of Fall Cooking is Cozy, where it's time to start putting those fall soups with dark gravies on your table. And I'm going to show you how to do it with video lessons, first on making flavorful stocks and broths, then creating a dark roux for deeper, darker gravies. Then you'll discover what those 3 soups known to mankind are as I teach it in my culinary school class. Then we'll start making thicker sauces with hummus, with coconut milk and butter. And I'll help you get more complex grains into this season's cooking with video instruction on 2 ways to make brown rice the best method for making quinoa, my high protein powerhouse quinoa salad, and making a thick and creamy risotto, and then we can turn it into fall risotto cakes. But that's not all, because the third part of Fall Cooking is Cozy is all about the fun and inspiration that comes this time of year. Fall's the time for sporting events and tailgating, so we'll go to the big ball game together where I'll show you my absolute best filet mignon chili to bring to the game, as well as my best trick for keeping your food hot on the way to the ballpark. You'll get my tailgating ideas and leave the grilling back where it belongs, in the summer. Then we head to the Polish Festival, back to my childhood on Long Island, New York, for the annual Fall Festival, and come home and make Polish pierogi, which my grandma always said were just Polish ravioli. Hey, then it's time to cook with the ingredients that really make Fall Cooking cozy. We'll go back to my kitchen and I'll show you the step-by-step procedures for making some of my favorite fall dishes, like braised brandy bavette steak, southern pecan crusted chicken, veal Rochester with sherry and cream, my lamb chops that I showed you before with the deepest, darkest gravy, the ropa vieja steak I love to make in the fall, chicken cordon bleu with ham and gooey cheese that I'll show you how not to let it melt out. We make chicken without the need for a can of cream of mushroom soup. We make cream spinach without having to boil anything in a bag. And then my favorite veal sauerbraten or stroganoff that you can make yourself. And this is a complete brand new program, 36 video lessons. It is being launched on my website today for $199. But I always like to reward the people who take the time to be with me here on Tuesdays of the Carefree Cooks Code. So I'm not going to charge the regular price to you. You're going to get something special. And remember, there's always valuable supporting information in all my cooking programs, and Fall Cooking is Cozy is not going to be left out. So when you get this program today, I'm also going to include my fall squash guide. This gives you the top 10 squash to use for the season, how to identify them at your market. The Fall Flavors Flyer, I call it. It's a great tool to consult when you want to change that lemon chicken into something more fall-inspired. You can consult this list of the flavors and spices that say fall the most. Then my Knife Skills Primer Guide. You're going to need this because you make sure you have the correct knife and the safest way to cut up all those really tough squash. And because squash and fall ingredients can be cooked in any method, you'll need to use the right pot or pan for that job. And that's why I'm going to include my Essential Pots and Pans Primer, so you can be sure that you do. Then you're going to have my Household Pantry Guide. This way you can keep an eye on your pantry and an assortment of ingredients on hand to change the summer items into fall. And then when you've gathered all those great fall-inspired ingredients, you need to be sure you're using the correct method and looking for the right results. And that's why the last free bonus is my Effects of Heat on Food and Temperature Progression Guide that can tell you what to look for as you're cooking for the best results every time. These bonuses are going to boost your knowledge and your skills for cozy fall cooking, and they also boost the value of this program by at least another $50 if I sold these items separately. But they're all being included for free, so you can make the most out of your fall cooking. And I've done something else. You want to hear about this? I've done something really special this year. I got so excited about bringing this Fall Cooking is Cozy concept to you that I wanted to create something cozy for everyone. I wanted a long sleeve, very soft and cottony, really cool t-shirt to stay warm in, one that says Fall Cooking is Cozy, so I had one designed for us. I had to print 100 of them again to get one for myself, but I got 99 left over, so let's give them away. Because I wanted my best students, the Carefree Cooks with me right now, to be the very first to hear about this brand new program, and I wanted you to be the first to get the new shirt. So the first 99 people who grab my Fall Cooking is Cozy program today, I'm going to send you the Fall Cooking is Cozy t-shirt for free, and we will all be cooking cozy and feeling cozy too. It's a $25 value. but I want the people who take quick action to get it now. And I want as many people as possible to get started as soon as possible with this great program. So I'm ready to make this decision really easy for you right now. I want you to get started immediately with my Fall Cooking is Cozy program, because during this web class, you can get started for only $99. It's an immediate 50% discount. But I wouldn't wait. I would not wait very long. The t-shirts are going to go fast, and this offer will expire soon. Plus, about $100 worth of free bonuses disappears if you don't act now. So fall cooking is the best cooking, and you can get started with my 3-step plan today. Your fall cooking will be cozier than ever. I've got months worth of great cooking ideas, ingredients, and methods to share with you in my Fall Cooking is Cozy online program. And if you'd like to move forward with this new fall cooking program I've just released, then go to webcookingclasses.com/fall to see everything that's in this brand new program and get started right away. Because fall doesn't last forever, but neither will this offer. When you change your cooking for the season, you'll discover that fall cooking is cozy. So thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I so enjoy being together. This is Chef Todd Moore reminding you that there's a method to your cozy fall cooking success. Bye-bye, everyone.